Well, as the rain lashes down, Pat Lam without his small but significant England cohorts. Today, Ellis Genge and Harry Randall training out in Girona. So it is the wizened Jan Thomas starting at loosehead prop today. Yeah, Jan Thomas starting at loosehead prop today with his sprightly Kieran Marmion at scrum half. He's got 3 tries in his past 3 games. The Bears ravaged by injuries in the pivot position. McGinty, Malins, Williams and Worsley all missing. Harry Byrne, as Pat Lam mentioned, arrived recently on a short-term loan from Leinster and features for the 3rd time at number 10. A lot of back 3 men sidelined as well. Noah Heward impressing in their stead in defeat by Clermont, a match in which Rich Lane brought up 50 Britchell games. The Bears captained by the inspirational Fitz Harding, with the experience of Stephen Luatua and Jake Heenan to be deployed off the bench a little bit later on. Newcastle shorn this week of one of their sharpest threats, Adam Radwan leaving for Leicester Tigers, and to add to the pain, scoring on debut yesterday. Step forward then, Max Pepper, a young man Steve Diamond has talked up this week. He can also play at scrum half, they're being trusted to fill the boots of the departed flying machine out wide. Elliot Obadienbo returns from a 3-month injury layoff at fullback. Max Clark makes his first Premiership start for the Falcons in the midfield. And up front, Adam Brocklebanks recovered from a biceps problem to reclaim his place at the coalface. No Tommy Garden, the league's top tackler, is injured, meaning Freddie Lockwood wears the number 7 jersey, and skipper Callum Chick returns at number 8. Former Newcastle and England wing Tom May has joined us in the commentary box for this one. And Tom, 2 teams who could scarcely be more different, either in league position, budgets, or in the style of play that they deploy.
No, and you just wonder how happy Steve Diamond would have been in seeing the rain. He mentioned it being a leveller. That's the opportunity to try and slow this team down. We've seen throughout the round so far that Bristol are just willing to go from anywhere. And Newcastle, well, through their last 3 fixtures, they've conceded 139 points. Bristol, on the flip side, not too flash themselves, 97. But they've scored an absolute truckload as well. This is going to be a really tough afternoon, I think, for the visiting team, but one where, you know, they could surprise people here within Ashton Gate, because if Brett Connon, the likes of Max Clark, who comes in, and Alex Hurl in the midfield manage this game properly, this is what the conditions lead to, right? The team that manages the game properly comes out on top.
Newcastle mortified last time they made the trip from northeast to southwest. A 13-try record shellacking visited upon them. Perhaps the lowest point in what was a winless league season for them. They've broken that Premiership hoodoo this year, but the big drought still to be quenched is on their travels. No away victory in the Premiership in more than 2 years. 26 months, over 800 days since the Falcons triumphed anywhere but in their stronghold of Kingston Park in this competition.
Still raining, but there is what almost looks like a shadow appearing on the far stand from our commentary position. It's been a pretty grim drive down to Bristol this morning along the M4. Howling gale. Very, very wet conditions. I wonder if some of those Bristol players will warm the stadium for us this afternoon.
Kieran McDonald, by the way, we caught a glimpse of him there with a shaved head, left his headphones on the flight down from Newcastle to Bristol. Poor old John Stocko, the team manager, had to drive back and fetch them for him. You know it's cold when Steve Diamond's got more than a tight t-shirt wrapped around his muscular frame.
More surprisingly for me is Mickey Ward. You never see him in anything but a t-shirt and shorts. He's got a hoodie on and a jacket. I don't know what's going on with him, the toughest man in Newcastle.
The Bristol Bears back at home again, albeit home has not been the happiest of hunting grounds for them this season. Only 2 wins for the Ashton Gate masses to cheer, and having been dumped out of Europe with a late sickener over in the Massif Central last weekend, they can now pour all their energy and all their focus into domestic matters in the league and the Prem Cup. Our lead official today, Craig Maxwell Keys, a chemistry graduate and a member of the civil service, alongside his professional refereeing commitments. Newcastle right of picture in the grey and black, Bristol in the blue and white on the left. Two clubs from opposite corners of the country, at opposite ends of the table, but few leagues as unpredictable right now as the wonderful Gallagher Premiership. What does this clash have in store for us today? First meaty collision between Bernard Janse van Rensburg, the Bristol kingpin, and even bigger Murray McCallum. Tight head prop today for the Falcons. Harry Byrne
retreat out, retreat.
Finding a patch of Ashton Gate Prairie. First touch for Elliot Obatiyinbo in his first game for 3 months after undergoing knee surgery following the defeat up in Salford back in round 4. Stewart, Connon, and Max Clark shipping it wide to Ben Stevenson. He's missed only 11 minutes of Premiership Rugby this season. Neatly back inside to Clark with the highlighted hair. Bill Mata's got his number.
Yeah, I think he'll add something to Newcastle's midfield. Got his work cut out this afternoon against Bernard Janse van Rensburg.
Yes,
one of, if not the best 12 in the league.
Stewart hoists over the shoulder. Tester for Lane. It's cannon forwards off Ben Stevenson. Bill Mata doing the litter picking, and then the classic Fijian cat flap pass to van Rensburg. Bristol don't kick too often inside their 22, kicking just 11 times per game, 16 fewer than Falcons. It's an eye-wateringly low number. It's not the way they want to play.
Hold a mark, please. Let's hold a mark, please.
Sam Stewart has given that a little bit too much Weetabix, and Bristol will have a fine attacking platform off the ensuing scrum.
That's a poor error from Sam Stewart. He had all the time in the world. Yeah. Such a big kick from Harry Byrne. It just allows Bristol to gain possession inside the Newcastle half, exactly where you don't want them.
Steve Diamond shattered Newcastle's Gallagher Premiership hoodoo with a really morale-boosting win over Exeter. They followed that up at home again, ducking and diving their old times, but followed it up a couple of weeks later against Saracens, a team they hadn't beaten in over a decade. But since then, no more wins on the ledger. 7 defeats on the spin between the league and the Challenge Cup.
Set.
Marmion, van Rensburg pulls it for Byrne. Options on his shoulder. He gets smashed by Max Clark. Big abrasive hit. Owen popping it on the inside to Big Bill Mata. Just clung on to that. Van Rensburg to Ogre. Very mobile hooker. Will be annoyed not to have taken Jamie George's place in the England squad. Curtis Langdon of Northampton ahead of him. Van Rensburg on the run around. Over the top to Byrne. Languid runner the fly half. Jamie Blameyer not rolling away quickly enough there.
Absolutely no issue. You're fine, but not with him.
So Newcastle doing what they can to try and shut the door. But it's Bristol's ability with ball in hand to somehow, whether it be a normal pass, around the back pass, a basketball pass, just get the ball into the space that they see open up. That's what makes them such a dangerous team. All those situational and conditional games that they play, here it is again on screen. It's just that ability to just push the ball over the top. However you catch the ball, you need to be able to give it without trying to change that ball position. Bristol, the best at that, I would think, in the league.
Almost 1 in 2 opposition entries to the Newcastle 22 result in opposition tries in the league this season. Bristol set the bodies low and look to haul the Falcons over their own front threshold. A couple of backs come in to help. Noah Heward's in there. So too Big Joe Jenkins. Ogre still in command of this, still motoring, and Ogre will finish it off. They're not just about the razzle-dazzle, these Bears. They've got bulging muscles as well. Deadlock broken inside 5 minutes.
But it's just good patient stuff from a driving maul situation for the home side. Really calm in possession. Added a couple of lean backs to the situation, which changed the momentum. Just very patient and understanding. They've practiced it, they've gone through the routines in their preparation for this game and others. And really, when you end up with your 10, trying to stop the on-rushing maul, you know you're in trouble.
Harry Byrne with a confident early strike. Bristol lead by 7.
From a Newcastle perspective, this is exactly what Bristol would have wanted to start. From a Newcastle perspective, as the sun sort of comes out, this is about mind games. How do you deal with the gremlins of last season and all of the poor run of form that you're in? How do you deal with that? How did you manage it up top? It's one try. They're more than capable of scoring one themselves.
Do you try and channel that frustration? Do you talk about the last time you were down here if you're a Newcastle player?
I think it's dangerous when it's that bad. I think you've got to write, and I'm sure Steve Diamond would have done that. You've got to write that sort of performance off, not even look at it, leave it in the cupboard.
Harry Byrne dabs it over the top, Lane in pursuit, Mata as well, and Mata scrambles it on the deck. Front foot ball for the Bears, unstructured, dangerous ball for the Bears.
Good defence from Callum Chick, just got in that passing lane, just made sure that Bristol stayed.
Chaotic this, Harry Byrne with a kick half charged. Lockwood recovers and then throws a dusty old pass. Heward, lovely cushion on the instep, scoops it up, slides home, predatory. A lot of self-harm from a Newcastle point of view, but how about the footballing skills of Noah Heward? Wonderful solo finish.
Yeah, brilliant calmness under pressure. Kick the ball through into space, acres of space in behind that defensive line that Newcastle had as the ball ricocheted off. That's what caused the problem. And it's normally Jamie Blamire who is holding the team together at that time, making the mistake. Such a tough
try's good, Craig.
conditions to play in. I'm sure it was Jamie Blamire, was it?
Go forward off Bristol.
It's Lockwood.
Yeah. Good score for Bristol anyway.
Harry Byrne kicking beautifully. 7 out of 9 in a Bristol jersey for him. And a 2-score lead inside 10 minutes. The start they wanted, the start they craved.
Well, it'd be tough, as Pat Lam alluded to in the pre-game interview, as we see Freddie Lockwood's pass, to let Harry Byrne go. Slotting in, looks really calm in that managerial role. And when you're kicking like that, it looks so easy, doesn't it?
They don't carry a lot of recognised fly-halves, Bristol Bears. AJ McGinty's the main man, but he's injured for another couple of months. Max Malin's the backup 10, out for the season with an Achilles problem. Sam Worsley out with a snap tendon in his finger. Jimmy Williams out with a hand injury. Harry Byrne's with him for another few months from Leinster, beg your pardon. At which point he may have to go into the loan market again, depending on how AJ McGinty's recovery fares. Hobbity Inbo, the former Saracen, laces it straight down the middle.
Not a bad option from Robert Imbo. Saw Harry Byrne coming across. I love the way Harry Byrne is probably about the only man in European rugby still trying to spiral the ball. I love it.
Yes. Time off. Is that yours?
You got to go off for a concussion protocol, mate.
I did say when he threw it at me, I hope I don't need that. Hold on the line, please.
Craig Maxwell Keys just thieving gum shields on the patrol around the field. There he is, Harry Byrne.
Of Of course, Bristol have got Tommy Jordan coming in from Glasgow next season. Primarily a fly-half, but as we've seen with Scotland and Glasgow over the past couple of years, comfortable at 12, 15, probably play on the wing as well. One of their marquee additions for next year. Callum Chick, the Falcons captain, as indomitable as ever in the face of adversity.
Yes, please. Don't block it, thank you.
Calaveti Rabovo moonlighting as a winger this weekend, and off he goes with typical impetus. Marmion whipping it away. Max Lahif, now a Bristol Bears centurion. Byrne wasn't expecting that, but he's moved it on quickly. Lane, oh, Stevenson couldn't take it. Just forward through the Falcons winger's fingertips. Harding, slick handling, Harry Byrne through the middle, wonderful off the deck to Thomas. They're flooding through the front row Union, and then the pass to Ogre doesn't quite function. And everybody of a Bristol persuasion was desperate for that to go to hand. Newcastle looking to run from deep through Chick. Couldn't hand it on to a teammate, then finds Van der Valts over the top to Stevenson. Hear him, scare him rugby. Herrell, tumble turning into the Bristol Bears defence. Bill Mata brings that to a swift halt. Done off the deck. Who wants this match ball? Who can cling on to it for more than a phase or two? Rich Lane taking on Lockwood. Van Rensburg jinking on the inside. Clark didn't get the steal. Harding, nice footwork from the captain. Then it's on to Owen, who's just scragged from behind.
Got a neck grab back there, Craig. Sorry, a neck grab by Blue.
Right, there's a neck roll being called by David Rose, the TMO. It's going to be a Newcastle penalty. It's a neck roll on Max Clark just as he went for that jackal turnover.
So someone goes in the neck and pulls him out.
Well, it might be 14-0 down, Newcastle, but they're
just try and get it for you, mate.
really trying to stress this defence.
You're asking for a number? Oh, not from you, sir. For the penalty.
Ian Thomas diving on the ball, desperate not to be in space like he was before. It's a good kick, great kick. It's taken a huge amount of yards out of the Bristol team.
Yeah, that's yours there, yeah. My mark, yeah. Yep, perfect. 6.
Right, first line out of the day for Newcastle, an area where they are statistically plumbing the depths of the Premiership, and a huge amount of work the past few months with Scott McLeod, their line-out guru, to put that right. Improve the numbers a bit, but still only operating at 80% outright. Lamire over the top to Max Clark, met hard by Bill Mata. Stewart's, Van der Valts. Newcastle scoring only 1 in 5 of their entries into opposition red zone, 22. Have a penalty at worst here as the Chavez carries into the heavy traffic. Stewart. Connon ripping the pass over the top. It's gone forwards anyway.
Passes forward.
Good ambition from Connon and recognition of space as well. And now Newcastle with the penalty opportunity.
Don't think 3-6-9 is going to work for Newcastle in a game like this. They've got to try and score in 5s, 7s and 10s.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I tend to agree with you, Jamie, but I'm just thinking there also from a perspective of just getting that 0 off the scoreboard, that builds pressure in itself.
Thank you, lads.
And at least 3 points is something you can build upon, whereas if this does go wrong, I'm sure they'll do everything in their powers for it not to, but if it does go wrong, it's such a killer blow.
Can hear Bill Mata's voice, his big Fijian arm pointing in case this one goes over the top. McDonald takes in the middle. Newcastle set the drive appetizingly. It's been sacked illegally by Bristol, so they can have a push of the old gamble button here, the Falcons.
Use that 9.
Stewart's loose, Blamire picks it up. Down the short side they go with Pepper. Super finish from Max Pepper. We'll head upstairs and check this, but has Adam Radwan's replacement filled his boots here?
Question, we're not sure.
Yep.
So try yes or no.
Okay, mate, we're just getting it for you. Sorry, Craig, just getting it for you now.
Well,
just going to try and show you the camera from the in goal first.
Yep.
From Max Pepper. I like the way he swapped the ball back to his left, just there. Oh, do you know what?
Left boot, isn't it?
It's going to be the foot, isn't it? The grounding on the line seems fine. It's all on the placement of that foot prior to the grounding.
Yeah, I'm just going to try and freeze that for you, Craig, so we can get a shot of his foot. Yeah, here it comes, Craig. We're just going to freeze it for you so we can see.
You'd have to say probably a big
what
toenail.
we can see on the stadium screen, Rosie, obviously you've got the better definition screen, but it looks like the end of the white boot sits flush on the end of the white line, so touch.
Yeah, I agree. It's just touched the white line.
So no tries and touch, go back for the penalty.
Yeah.
Well, Max Pepper's left boot grazing just a couple of blades of white painted grass.
So it's no tries in touch. Penalty collapse.
But Newcastle can line up the bruisers and have another shot at the corner here.
Okay.
Or not, they're going to go for a scrum, in fact. Backing their set piece.
Also in these conditions, line out horrendous. Who wants to be a hooker in these conditions with a wet ball, greasy ball? Trying to hit bullseye every time, incredibly difficult.
What do you see in the way Newcastle are shaping up here, Tom, if the ball makes it that far?
Well, everything's tight, isn't it? It's all going to be coming down the channel of Kieran Marmie and Janse van Rensburg, and probably Joe Jenkins. Not that they're probably too worried in terms of the,
Oh, the heel comes scooshing out the back and then it's knocked on. And Newcastle can ill afford the squander field position such as that.
Well, Callum Chick putting his hand up, saying he should have controlled it, but it's such a difficult area to defend from. But you can't put your 10 under pressure like that.
Thank you. Good work.
You've got that many numbers sat on top of you as the defender. It's really difficult. One false move and it's 5 points.
Bristol conceded 3 scrum penalties and a free kick over in France, Clermont last weekend. And this will be a key head-to-head here. Lahif and Brocklebank, 2 stalwarts of the English game.
I'm not going to chase you, lads. You've got lots of movement. Let's get the first 2 scrums back to the same standard, please. Here we go.
From a Bristol perspective, try and get Matter into that 10 channel with Van Rensburg, and then try to clear your lines. Maybe you can use Harry Byrne off the back.
The scrum begins to pop up, and Bristol ordered to play. Harry Byrne kicks long and on the field. Obatienbo takes on the slide, has a look at the bruisers in his crosshairs, and he is smithereened by Bill Mata. Torpedoed by a giant Fijian. Tell you what, he's taken it well. He's back in the attacking line again.
Sometimes you get hit that hard, you end up bouncing off. I'm sure we'll have an opportunity to look at that again, but that was an incredible contact.
Bill Mata's made a career out of collisions like that. Here's his Fijian pal. Calaveti Rabovo has options on his shoulder. Marmion back to the Fijian. Rabovo dragged down, but they will not stop him. And that right there is what Bristol do.
Well, it's from nothing. It's from absolutely nothing, and Bristol have gone, what, 80 metres? That man, Calaveti Ravovo, you could stick him at 13 wing. To be fair, you could probably put him anywhere in the back line. You just don't want him at 10. Here's that hit. Oh.
Try's good, Craig. Yeah, I did check that tackle by 8 as well. Yeah,
look at the ability to just
Yeah, brilliant. No, thanks.
Drag the defender infield. That's what creates the space. Brilliant work from, I must say, from Sam Stewart
Just my side,
and Max Pepper to get all the way back.
I thought that Newcastle 3 didn't need to stand up down there. I didn't think there was too much weight coming across.
Understood.
Harry Byrne makes it 3 from 3. And Bristol so far on course to match the mega score they visited upon Newcastle late last season.
Just here as Revovo comes in field, just recognises where the space is going to be. Claps his hands, wants it back. 5 more metres. Sam Stewart would have stopped that.
He had a shoulder injury, beg your pardon, not a soldier injury. He's not been in the army as far as I know, but a shoulder injury, Calaviti Ravovo, last season, which limited his impact in his debut campaign here in the West Country. But he put on 6 kgs of muscle over the off-season, and you can see that every time he touches the ball, carrying with such fire and brimstone. Ogre. Bristol chasing a first-half bonus point here. Byrne.
Wait.
Happy to cede possession in their own half, more so than usual, Bristol. Perhaps because they know Newcastle haven't, this season anyway, had the weaponry to hurt them from deep.
Yep.
Is that what you're seeing, Tom?
I think also it's a reflection of the conditions, right? Why try and force to get...
Oh, hang on. Harry Byrne's torpedoed one right up into the 22. That is the mother of all 50-22s.
That is huge. Even better that it's a spiral kick as well.
Okay, yeah, good point.
Look at this.
It goes straight out, doesn't bounce it.
Wow.
Oh, it's got, you know, it's got to bounce. It's not going to be a 50-22, but still, what a kick.
It's too big. It was so big, it didn't bounce. Incredible kick. Won't matter. Sat on top of Newcastle in their own 22. Brilliant return.
Lemire to McDonald.
Small. Defending once here, 9.
And then Stewart whacks it away to the safety of touch. Now a Newcastle Falcons centurion, Sam Stewart, hit the 100 mark back in round 2 down at Harlequins. Really important, influential member of the squad up in the northeast. Very much a senior figure for Steve Diamond, Alan Dickens and his coaching staff. Owen off the top. Van Rensburg introducing Mata, who introduces pain, generally speaking. Byrne can't get away from Van der Vault. Adam Brocklebank and Kieran Marmion wrestling off the ball. Yes, scrum half not very happy the treatment he received. This is Lahif. Van Rensburg hunting for a 50-22 of his own. Not quite, but again, just pinning Newcastle back, sapping Newcastle morale.
Well, I don't think it quite went where
across, please.
Bernard Janssen van Rensburg wanted it to. But it certainly caught Ben Stevenson out. And again, just means that Bristol stay up the right end of the field.
Thank you, lads.
One of the foreign players in England this season, Bernard Janssen van Rensburg, talked about as a potential England international when his residency period is complete. South African by birth and upbringing, of course.
He's outstanding. He is brilliant, top quality. Deceptively quick, strong, but I think most importantly, just makes incredibly good decisions when he's on the ball.
The ball's here. Carried back in. Now we're on use it, the ball's free.
Sam Stewart told it's been carried back in, so can't go direct to touch. Bristolian hand slapping on it anyway. Stewart to Rich Lane.
Good tackle by Max Clark, brilliant kick chase.
Byrne, there's the cross-fielder, arrow towards Ravovo, just couldn't grapple it under control.
Sorry, mate. Nothing from the back. Obviously, I'm unsighted what happens at the front. So they just drop it, bro.
There was nothing my side.
It's
no.
those little bits, the hard work that you see from the likes of Max Clark in taking the kick chase line up, you know, leading from the front, making those tackles high up the field is so key to meaning that you can swing a change in momentum.
Max Clark's first Premiership start for Newcastle today, brought in as injury cover for Sammy Arnold, Connor Doherty and Cam Hutchison, all of whom are out for varying lengths of time. Stewart got right underneath that box kick. All the forwards have got to get out of the way. Ravovo comes forward, but it's a fabulous take from Pepper. Certainly showing his wares today. Stewart probing the corners, only big Kieran McDonald lumbering after it. Wish that ball would have stayed in. Would have been very interesting to see what McDonald had up his sleeve. And Bristol, typically of Bristol, not messing around.
Well, it was good play initially from Newcastle, just to get the ball into that position. Great take from Max Pepper, and recognition again from Sam Stewart of who's in and around that breakdown and where that means the space will be, and probably Harry Burns' worst kick of the afternoon in terms of his clearance.
De Chavez, after a fashion, wins it for Newcastle. Philip van der Walt, the veteran pugilist in the back row, big South African.
Yes, please.
Brett Connon points forwards, meaning he wants a box kick here from Stewart. Scrum half does the necessary. Connon goes after it. Ravovo takes it and claims the mark.
Testing my hair, I'm sorry. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The mark's here.
Well, we saw an interesting one yesterday, didn't we? Where was that? Leicester. And there's another
Oh, Ravovo! Shades of Mauro Bergamasco against England all those years ago. He can do a lot of things, Calavetti Ravovo. Passing certainly one of them. But maybe the extra muscle he's put on showing a bit too clearly.
Also, he only had to swing a boot at it. Just get it off the field.
Sorry.
Pat Lam, I think, stifling a smirk up in the coaching box.
Extraordinary.
Forwards first, not straight across.
Well, the upshot is Newcastle have another chance from another scrum inside the home 22 to lift themselves, to get themselves on the scoreboard.
Bind. Santi, 8's coming. Set. Early.
Free kick to Newcastle here, early shove from the Bears. Callum Chick's waiting and thinking, and then he's tapping. Max Clark, walloped by Van Rensburg.
He's nowhere near the ball, it's available.
Stewart to Chick again, big line speed from that Bears defence. Chick wore one from James Dunn. Van der Walt, Owen this time, and Harding up quickly. Stewart to Lockwood, never quite looked ready to take that pass. And Bristol can fill at you from anywhere. They need the ball to do so. Ravovo off knock-on advantage. Here he goes. This is wonderfully Fijian. Still got that knock-on advantage, Bristol. And Harry Byrne torpedoes his team out of danger for now. Obatiyinbo with Heward bearing down on him. Little hitch kick from the fullback, running into a lot of big bodies.
Yeah, good choice to leave it. Thank you, Fitz.
Stewart to McDonald, standing start, not many options. Newcastle ceding possession, ceding 40 metres. Lockwood on his Todd. Stewart, Connon, neat hands inside to Clark, but he's spinning only into the giant Mata. McCallum. Another penalty advantage to Newcastle. Connon and Stevenson, nothing doing there.
There's 3 breakdowns where players are far too long, just get it out of the way.
It's good patience from Newcastle. Weren't necessarily getting over the gain line
Choosing to land the wrong side, then
too much, but
you and another player,
maintain possession probably one area that Bristol will be slightly disappointed is the number of penalties that they've given away for good counting. Very good counting, Jamie. You're cheating, you're writing it down.
Oh, yeah. There's been one each way. Your guy missed completely. I've had a word with him, yeah.
Allowed Newcastle to at least spend some time. Yes, it hasn't come to fruition too well for them in terms of points on the scoreboard, but they're there and they're in that final third.
Looks good to me.
Lemaire's throw just taken in by de Chavez. Lemaiere comes trundling off the back himself. Mata lassoes his quadriceps. Stewart on his own. Mata's up again and tackling again. Busy opening half hour from the Fijian number 8. Van der Vaart, it's loose but backwards. Newcastle still just about clinging onto the pill. McDonald to Lockwood. Heavy Bears defence, marshalled by Jordan Crane, former Tigers number 8. Lemaiere again. Pick and jam from Callum Chick. 2 metres out. McDonald eyes the line. Van der Vaart will ride side saddle here. McDonald breaks. Bristol hold him. Adam Brocklebank, who's never scored a try for Newcastle. 137th attempt to do so today. Mata turns him onto his back. Penalty advantage to the Falcons. Chick will score. All that bludgeoning, all that patience from the Falcons, and they have something to show for their first half toil. Callum Chick touches down.
Well, we talked about Newcastle having the opportunities in that Bristol final third. It was well organised, very patient attack from Newcastle.
Spot on there, the ball
direct
from 8 to that first pickup.
Brilliant. Thank you, mate.
Just getting numbers back to their feet. That first tackle was the one that missed. Didn't quite connect from a Bristol perspective, just allowed Chick to get round that edge. But something for them to build upon.
Brett Connors notched over 500 points in Newcastle Falcons jersey. Every point a prisoner when you come to venues like this one. Very nicely done from Newcastle's pivot. And 5 points for the visitors become 7.
Great kick from Brett Connors. Now they've just got to try and go back to their basics. That team there will be trying to work out the areas that they can try to exploit.
Oh, Van Rensburg gets a touch on that, and Bristol again counter-attacking ball. This is where they're lethal. Rich Lane drops it on the toe and says play from there, Newcastle.
Great kick. Brilliant kick from Rich Lane. Maybe if everyone's fit, Rich Lane doesn't get in the starting back three, but what a player he is for Bristol to have on their books in terms of value delivered. Outstanding. Scores tries, very quick, cuts into the line brilliantly. And when you've got someone that can identify space and execute kicks like that, Pat Lam is very relaxed in where he plays in the back three.
Newcastle crabbing dangerously towards the touchline, and Mata and Harding and Algray all up quickly to stop Callum Chick gaining any positive ground.
Already been a ruck. Yes, please.
Under the new law changes brought in over the past couple of weeks, scrum halves a bit more protected at the base of those caterpillar rucks and mauls. Sam Stewart making a good kick, but Rabovo and Lane want to play. They want the tempo high. They want Bristol playing Bristolian rugby. Harry Byrne eyeing up space in the backfield. Turns Stevenson, Heward after it. Stevenson gets there, and he's strong with the leg drive too.
Play back.
Conan wants to force Bristol themselves deep. And it's an excellent kick from Conan. Rich Lane, though, deftly bats it in field. Very left-footed, Rich Lane. The banana kick from in to out. Spilled, but backwards. And Conan gives it back to Max Clark. Hammering into Marmion. Front foot ball for the Falcons now. Murray McCallum, one cap Scotland international, played for Steve Diamond at Worcester and Edinburgh. The Chavez, Grondona's on that, but tackler not rolling in the first instance.
The same penalty is down there.
It's another penalty.
Illegal, tackle is still there.
They just need to be careful because they start to give those penalties away inside their own 22. Craig Maxwell-Keys
That was a contest shoulder to
will
shoulder.
recognise that he's been putting his hand up in favour of Newcastle at penalty time. Too much. And Conan goes right for the... Oh, it's a brilliant kick.
I don't see any issue with the contest.
It's a contest.
Bang on 5 metres, as close as they could get. Now a real opportunity for the visitors. Just what you want. So difficult for the 10s to just
I can try. I'll try.
drop the ball into those areas.
6. There we go.
And the
6.
forwards taking their time,
Hold 2 metres
worked
here.
really hard during the week to get this area of the game right.
Yeah,
Now it's time to deliver.
5 chances.
Pressure moments these for Newcastle. Too often they fluff their lines in these positions. The Chavez manages to force the ball back into the maul. Blamire will be eyeing up that blind side. Ravovo coming across to cover. Lahif stops it. Blamire leaves
Down
it for
by
his
Bristol,
scrum half.
down by Bristol, Craig.
Will be a penalty at worst for Newcastle here. Max Clark cutting back against the grain. Stewart, Lockwood, forward pass, back will go.
Tell you what, Freddie Lockwood's like those tight lines, doesn't he? Really short, hard to the line, flat. All Sam Stewart has to do is just pick them up.
Line out was over, so yeah.
Put it in the bread basket. Conan going straight to the corner. But they're looking sharp in that final 10 metres, probably, Newcastle. Certainly revert to type, don't they? Becomes very direct.
I can see why you're asking.
Working in 2s and 3s.
Blamire throws, De Chavez takes, Bristol choose not to compete. Newcastle get them all motoring nicely, working its way in field. Backs are in helping as well. Blamire inching towards the line, 1.5 meters in it. Blamire waits, can he ground that ball? Oh yes! And the Falcons coaches beside us clap their hands furiously in delight. Jamie Blamire, a Newcastle try scorer again, and they are rising from the ashes of a torrid opening 20. And in amongst all that, we'll throw in a quick apology for the foul language you might have heard over the referee's microphone.
There's a lot riding on it. Oh, they scored that at the same time as Murray McCallum, having his shorts around his knees. Brilliant. They were one down. Good patience, organised. You talked about the work that's gone in with Scott McLeod.
Yeah, the player.
Jamie Blamire so often at the very back of those.
So 12 seconds.
Another lovely strike from Brett Conan. Newcastle back within a score. 3 minutes of the first half remaining. 3 big minutes left.
He's coming with a medic, I assume.
Looks like
Yep, that's 5. All good, mate. Happy.
Stephen Luatua is coming on the field. Someone's disappearing down below.
Yeah, it's Joe Owen who's heading off for a head injury assessment, triggered by those smart gum shields which measure the forces involved in the collisions these players take. And they're almost like an objective early warning system for any possible concussion risk. Trigger an automatic head injury assessment, try and make sure that the players' brains are protected as much as possible. So Luatua on in jersey 19. There he is, left of your picture.
Yes, please.
Dual international with the All Blacks and Manu Samoa. And what Newcastle want here is to navigate the next couple of minutes without conceding, get to half-time within touching distance of the Bears. Bristol, though, can shred you from anywhere.
Well, I think when they understand that they probably were sort of still asleep, weren't they, on the bus down from Newcastle in those first 10 minutes.
Do you know they flew this time?
Oh,
Often take the bus, but they forked out for a flight this time.
All right, well, they were still at the
Flew
airport.
down last night. Still at baggage reclaim. Here's Van Rensburg barreling down the middle. Such dynamism in his South African limbs. Ogre to Mata, blasting up the middle. One-on-one Mata. Fabulous hit from Stevenson.
I think he was off
Newcastle
feet at that
working
breakdown,
hard
He just
to try and steal it.
off his feet, the 9 Newcastle.
Going to be a penalty against Newcastle here.
Just dives
Sam
in.
Stewart offers feet. Could hear that called in from Greg McDonald, the assistant referee on the near side.
Question though.
He slid and was off feet when he played the ball.
Off feet.
Off feet.
Yeah, 9
tell you what.
slings to break down, off feet, killed the ball.
That is an absolutely outstanding tackle from Ben Stevenson. The line break, that's the last thing you want to see as a back three player coming through.
He hits his chest on the floor.
He almost backed off and then accelerated into the contact. It was a brilliant tackle as Bristol go for the corner. And as you say, Jamie, if Newcastle managed to navigate this, what does that do for their mental strength going into the second half?
30 seconds with the first 40 minutes remaining. And in the wider context of this game, this feels like a seminal Bristolian attack. Grondona soars to take it. And Ashton Gate rumbles its approval.
Stationary. Down by Bristol, over.
Maul is complete. McDonald comes through and sacks Gabe Ogre. Heward in there helping. The back's narrow wall, but Calaveti Ravovo, who's hugging the touchline for a cross kick. Oh, what a shot from Van der Waal. Heavy old hit on Van Rensburg. Harding, the captain, Bristol's top carrier and tackler. Oh, it's a brilliant steal from Newcastle. And of all people, in the land of rocking giants, little Brett Connon, the weasel, pilfering the ball back.
Well, it's Brett Connon that's nicked the ball, but that is such a massive boost for Newcastle at this stage of the half. Having been on the ropes, properly on the ropes. 21-14 at half-time, they'll take all day.
Newcastle have rallied in a big way, an impressive way. No doubting the spirit in this Falcons team. Have they got the class? And have they got the skill set to turn it round in the second half? Calaveti Ravovo, virtually unstoppable for Bristol. And the Bears still with that 7-point lead at a windswept and Dreich Ashton Gate. Half-time in rugby country, in the West Country. Bristol Bears 21, Newcastle Falcons 14. No change at half-time to tell you about, save the return of Joe Owen, who has passed his head injury assessment, and Stephen Luatua has retreated to the bench for the time being.
I can hear you, mate. Paul Box, are you there?
Here we go then. An opening 20 minutes that belonged to Bristol Bears.
All right, mate. You're fine.
In fact, you know what? Joe Owen's not quite back with us yet. You can see Stephen Luatua in a half-lunge position in the luminous boots. Bottom right of your picture. Joe Owen has completed his head injury assessment, but they've got to wait for that 10-minute time period to elapse before he can come back on. Here's Callum Chick down in Coffin Corner, and that's a ferocious collision with Van Rensburg. He's taken that so well.
Yes, please.
It was a great kick from Harry Byrne. You just think that it was travelling, but I think it was going to dot down right in the corner. It would have worked out perfectly for Bristol, so it was a good decision from Callum Chick to actually play the ball. Really difficult in those circumstances to make exactly the right decision. And then, as you say, that collision, both players fully committed, as you'd expect.
Right, just to clarify, Joe Owen is still on, but it's James Dunn, we believe, who has been withdrawn at half-time. So Luatua still with us. Here's Mata. Bristol on the hunt for a bonus point. Luatua protecting. Marmion
Offside,
to
13.
Thomas. Penalty advantage, Bristol. This is the start to the second half that Bristol sought to dampen that Newcastle revival. Lahif, another penalty advantage. Marmion darting to the right, lovely hands from Lane, and he's lost it. And back will go for either of the few penalties.
Come back a bit, mate, come back. Number 13 offside.
I can see what Rich Lane was trying to do. He's trying to get on the outside of that Newcastle defender to try and bring him all the way across. And then drop Revovo back underneath Max Pepper. Just lost the ball at the vital moment, but good attacking nous from Bristol as they head for the corner.
Bristol scoring a whopping 25 tries in the second half of Premiership matches this season. That's more than 2 per second half. Little wonder they've fared so well. Luatua takes. Gabe Augrey looking to help himself to a double here.
Stationary once.
Newcastle stopped the first attempted surge, but here comes more Bristolian power. They've got to use it now. Augrey leaves it for Marmion. Harry Byrne, tall, languid fly half, happy to carry.
Just don't touch that, yeah, that wouldn't be wise.
Marmion to Mata. If you want go forwards, Bill Mata's your man. Owen.
Good line speed from Newcastle, managing to chop down that Bristol attack. Good numbers on their feet.
Philip van der Walt not rolling away, which denies Max Clark his turnover penalty.
Exactly the same. You are absolutely fine, but we've got tacklers lying the wrong side.
You just need to be careful. It's 1 or 2 early on in this second half from Newcastle that have gone against them. Talked about that for Bristol in that first half. They're looking now to take the scrum option, which is a really difficult position. Centre of the field for Newcastle to defend from.
There we go.
Have a look at this for an attacking position, Tom. What do you do here? If you're a fly half, this has got to be like waking up on Christmas morning as a kid with a room full of presents.
Well, it all starts with the front row, working out which side can get their edge up, which just creates a bit more space one way or t'other. And you choose to go that way, try and expose it. He's got options galore here, both Rich Lane and Harry Byrne in behind.
Free kick for the early drive, and Mata taking on that responsibility. Marmion, McDonald up quickly, but there's Owen. Backdoor ball, bouncing. Harry Byrne knocks it on. And listen to the Newcastle celebrations. So many times in these positions, Newcastle are folded. Not this time.
Well, they're working so hard to get up quickly. And then it's just a balance, isn't it? Do you maintain possession? Given the conditions, you're probably better holding it, recycling, going through the floor. Instead, Joe Owen choosing the difficult option. It didn't work out.
Max Lahif, his 101st Bristol outing, comes to an end on 45 minutes. Favourite son of these parts, Max Lahif, magnetic personality. Shifts a bit of tin as well, doesn't he, Tom?
He does shift a bit of tin. He's not exactly the shape of props in days gone by, is he?
He might not be the shape, but he's certainly not the body fat percentage of props yesteryear.
I walked in downstairs before I came up in the lift, and he was doing that sort of, it's not skipping, is it? What is it? I don't know what it is, but it looks quite cool. I didn't look too long, I was a bit scared.
Props with abs, skipping in the tunnel. What has rugby come to?
I just sort of whispered, you crack on, mate, and just carried on.
Well, the upshot is George Kloska, who was once a hooker, is now converted to a tight head prop. Has come on in jersey 18 opposite Adam Brocklebank.
Set.
I have to think Newcastle will use Callum Chick, Max Clark, all the penalty.
Well, that's the get out of jail card they wanted. Murray McCallum up against Jan Thomas.
Yeah, he had tight at the other side as well on his knee.
And tight head on his knee.
It's an area of the game, Tom, that for all Newcastle's struggles, for all that, if we look at all the metrics by which we measure games of rugby, they're at the bottom of most of them. The scrum and the power they're bringing, the penalties they're winning, is something they've consistently been able to hang their hat on this season.
Yeah, well, I think, look, scrum is always incredibly difficult to interpret, isn't it? But if you've got some intelligent players like Newcastle have in McCallum and Brocklebank
Both props were on, didn't he?
that can apply a huge amount of pressure, there is a huge force going through that front row. You get it slightly wrong,
He's there. All good.
and you can earn yourself penalties, and Newcastle are really good at doing so, demonstrating that there, and it gives them 45-50 metres up the field.
Clean line out for the Falcons, and introducing Chick, who throws the dummy and hammers into George Kloska. Scrappy at the base for Sam Stewart, wanted to box kick, instead he's been ransacked by Big Bill Mata. Not a position any scrum half really wants to be in.
Watch who's behind you.
It was clearly out, which was why it seemed to Sam Stewart that he was enveloped in blue and white striped players.
Connan standing deep,
Always inside.
hoist the up and under. Max Pepper has hot pursuit of this, but Rich Lane spins away from him. Clark with an important shot.
No. Level with the back foot. Good question.
Bit of experience lacking there from Max Pepper. Just wait for the player to come down and absolutely clatter him.
Here's Joe Owen out on the edge, where Bristol like to position some of their rangier forwards. Marmion, Luatua on the inside to Ogre, who's got dynamite footwork.
Play back in.
Harry Byrne, flat for Mata, look out, frees the hands brilliantly, burning away as Jenkins. What a burst this is, options left and right, and the pass just doesn't work.
Well, I'll tell you what, Max Pepper might have demonstrated a bit of inexperience at one end of the field, but he works incredibly hard, and he has done previously in the first half. That is a brilliant tackle.
Two players down here.
He has to go high, get involved with the arms, make it difficult. If you go low, they can get both hands on it and get the ball away. Well played, Max Pepper. He's had a good game.
It's a real opportunity for Max Pepper to come in and shine, with Adam Radwan leaving Newcastle, pocketing a transfer fee of sorts from Leicester Tigers, since Radwan had a year and a half left on his deal. And the breeding ground of opportunity is the theme that Steve Diamond's running with this season. They don't have the money, it's well documented. They don't have a cast list of superstars. They do have players like this, young, hungry players, desperate for regular Prem rugby.
And Steve Diamond knows the hunger of these players, right? It's just about channeling that and using it to your advantage. And if you can get that enthusiasm to work within a system that doesn't overstretch them in terms of their quality, then actually you can build a decent team.
Set.
Bristol putting the squeeze on this time.
You probably see it more, I guess, in football, but you know, a team like Notts Forest shouldn't be near the top of the Premier League on paper. But if you've got energy and you've got enthusiasm, that can cause some real quality players issues.
Murray McCallum struggled for game time at the start of the season, but he's made himself the cornerstone of this Newcastle pack past 3 or 4 months. Eduardo Becho, the Argentine tight heads, out perhaps for a full season with a horrible ACL injury. Richard Palfreman missing today as well, but Murray McCallum has emerge as Steve Diamond's first choice tight head. And his reverse light's certainly not flashing there. Stewart with space and time to clear. And Rich Lane, once a landscaper and gardener before he got his big break at Bristol. Introducing Heward, running laterally. Can't escape the talons of Max Clark.
Good kick chase again from Newcastle.
Luatua, Lane again through the middle. Too quick for the forwards. Away he skips from Blamire. Rips the pass away to Ravobo. The Fijian rampaging all the way in. Too ruthless. Too clinical. Too deadly.
I wonder whether we check for a forward pass. Certainly looked to be drifting that way. It's an incredible line break from Rich Lane. But that man, I'll tell you what, you can put him wherever you want. He's rapid and he's box office. But look at the footwork here. Off the left, off the right.
Thanks for the heads up.
Identify a forward when it's in front of you. I mean, it's got...
Yeah, pass goes, leaves the hand, goes backwards, Craig.
Yeah, leaves the hand backwards.
Look at the footwork here.
Yeah, absolutely.
In, out, identify. I think it's poor old Murray McCallum. Ball goes backwards from the hands and then...
Yeah, definitely.
Rivaldo.
No worries.
Thank God I'm not playing on the wing anymore.
Yeah, the try will stand. That pass being checked by TMO David Rose in the background. Harry Burns slotting the kick as you'd expect. 2-score lead, bonus point to the Bears, and Jan Thomas withdrawn for big Jake Moormore up front.
Well, sometimes you've got to hold your hands up and go, do you know what, that was just a quality try. I think for Newcastle in that scenario, brilliant recognition from Bristol of where the space could be and then executing.
Bernard Janssen van Rensburg grew up in the Limpopo province, a remote part of that province in South Africa. Tabazimbi, his village was called. Grew up battling black mamba snakes. They're deadly, venomous snakes, apparently the deadliest in Africa. He would repeatedly find them in his house, found them in his closet, had to shoot a couple, keep them away from the family farm.
That is ridiculous.
Did a great interview, I think, with Will Kelleher in the Times, talking about his upbringing recently. A brilliant story, brilliant hairdo as well, and certainly a brilliant skill set.
Tell you what, if you fight black mambas, you can have whatever hairdo you want.
Van der Walt has to fight that ball back down to Jamie Blamire.
Look right here.
Here is Blamire, in fact. It was Lockwood who made that carry. Be a big loss to Newcastle when he heads to join Adam Radwan at Leicester Tigers next season. It'll be Julian Montoya's replacement in the East Midlands, it seems. Stewart to the skies.
Stop six.
Pepper against Lane again. Lane commanding catch.
Again, it's Max Pepper. Did brilliantly to just buy 1 second in holding Bristol up.
Burn. Oh, charged down by Max Clark. Will it hold up on the turf for his first Falcons try? It's fiendishly tight. The subs in the dry robes reckon he's got it.
Try. Let's just box it off, please.
I reckon he thinks he's got it as well.
On-field try, we're going to have a check. So we
Great
check the onside
pace.
first as well.
Yep, please.
From
Okay.
Max Clark.
Yeah, no worries, thank you.
We're going to check whether he's onside. It did look, I mean, we're quite a long way away, Jamie, so it could go wrong with my eyesight, but it did look like he managed to dot that ball down before it reached the back end of the dead ball area.
It's coming now for you.
Not the biggest of in-goal areas here at Ashton Gates.
That's a try.
Oh, the crossbar's in the way.
Craig, we're just going to go back to get a better angle from the breakdown.
Yeah, so if we can high and wide to box off
Yeah, we'll
the
do.
offside, and then this angle will probably be really useful to determine a grounding.
Try.
Which is fine to hand on top of the ball.
Brilliant.
Before the dead ball
Great
line, so we're
pace
happy with the grounding.
from
Yeah,
Max
that angle,
Clark.
but obviously just rewind that back to the start.
Reacted
That's not
to
gonna help us, it's too late.
his own charge down.
If he's onside, from this
Newcastle,
angle, a bit further back.
well, they're not going away, are they?
Good. assuming they're just resetting that second
Yeah,
line.
we're just resetting it for you, Craig.
no
We're just going to
worries.
get it back for you now.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, so still happy with the grounding.
There's the picture here, Craig. You can
Just
see him in the
checking
background
he's
there.
onside.
Yeah, he's onside there.
And he
Craig,
is.
with the ball's passed. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, mate. Time back on then.
Well, rope-a-dope rugby from Newcastle Falcons. Max Clark has his first try for his new club. Training with Saracens early in the season after being left clubless.
Right side of the line, and like
The end of the
slip
last
down there,
campaign,
yeah.
couple of games for Ampthill, some Prem Cup action, back in the top flight. The snazzy highlighted hairdo, and back among the tries again. Newcastle hanging on in there. Calavetti Ravo was so big, he just about blots out the sun for our camera operators. Brett Conant slots the conversion, 7 points in it again.
From Newcastle, Craig, when they box kick, make sure they don't want to hit.
Max Clark, quality player. But he's in that bracket, isn't he? In terms of players that are going to find it incredibly difficult in today's climate to maintain those contracts.
Double change for Newcastle as well. We caught a glimpse there of Elliot Obatoyinbo, who is down with some ice on his legs. That's Luan de Bruyne, who's been brought on for Murray McCallum. And there's Ollie Spencer, who's replaced Obatoyinbo. Just back from a long layoff, Obatoyinbo. Hopefully nothing too serious there. Here come the Falcons, who themselves are in the question of a bonus point here, but knock-on advantage hadn't accrued before Freddie Lockwood lost the ball and then lost his manners a bit with perhaps the use of language.
Certainly a big ball carrier, Freddie Lockwood, but just needs to manage how flat he does get. There's nothing wrong with buying yourself an extra metre or so you can position the ball so it's safe in contact.
Okay.
Bristol have won 4 matches in a row against Newcastle. Comfortable victors up at Kingston Park. The opening day of the season, there was that 85-14 savaging here towards the end of the last campaign. 13 tries to 2. Falcons haven't won here since May 2017 when Veroniki Gonova, remember him, talking of flying Fijians? He got a hat-trick that day.
Settling down really good over here.
What a player he was.
We need some space, please.
Apologies for the language again. Callum Chick just issuing some instructions laced with a bit of profanity.
I think his point was, let's just be whiter than white as a team, apply pressure and just get our own jobs right. Let them give away the penalties.
Set.
Bristol penalty, that's a big one.
They certainly got that scrum right, didn't they? Yes. Ogre just gives Blamai a little tap on the shoulder. Mind games at work.
If you get the chance, Craig, speak to 9 Newcastle about moving the ball when it's a penalty. He just rolled it away.
Oh, okay, yeah. There you go. Just off the line, lads, please.
7.
There you go. So any turnover, we're outside.
Big set piece for Bristol. But defensively, again, Newcastle will be confident that they can fly up. They'll certainly be coming off their line incredibly fast to try and shut down the space.
Falcons came through on it, but Ogre comes pinwheeling away, and Van Rensburg into the 22 he tumbles. Penalty advantage, Bristol. Penalty activated.
Well, Jamie, you were brilliant in the first half at counting how many Bristol penalties had gone. How many Newcastle ones have gone past?
They're up to 7 now, and I make that 4 second-half penalties. Maybe a sign of the respect the leadership group at Bristol have got for Newcastle's revival here, that they're going for 3, which Bristol very seldom do.
Well, in terms of the players on the field, they were all about going for the corner, weren't they? You're right. Pat Lam just saying, let's get
clearly touched the floor.
3 points on the board. Keep the scoreboard ticking over and take it to more than one score.
Harry Byrne keeps Newcastle at arm's length. 10-point game as we tick towards the final quarter of the match.
Yeah, I'll try and bear that in mind if you do pull out, yeah.
58 minutes on the clock, Bristol Bears 31, Newcastle Falcons 21.
Newcastle with a very youthful bench today. 4 of the players among the 8 men on it, aged 22 or under. A couple of 20-year-olds in there. Ollie Spencer, one of them who's already on the pitch. The other, Mickey Newcastle, talented young prop. Bristol with a bit more experience, a bit more seasoned professionalism among their cohort of bench men. Marmion, Kloska hit by Funneval and Lockwood. Well, they've lost it on the ground here, and Lockwood has got his big, beefy Geordie mitts on it.
They need to try and shift that point of contact, point of attack. Newcastle ball's just slowing down.
They want to move it wide. They're not going to have that opportunity.
Well, lucky they'll go back. No advantage coming from that attack.
1, 2, go.
Such a good bit of ball to attack from, turnover ball. Bristol will have to work so quick in their transition from attack to defence, which is incredibly difficult to do.
Once it settles down, let's bear height in mind, please. Fight to stay high.
Newcastle haven't scored a try bonus point this season. A long time between drinks. They just haven't wielded the momentum, the finishing touches to turn positions like this into points on the board often enough. Only scored 15 tries in 10 Prem matches coming into this one. Again, the ball's a bit loose at the base, but it's clean for Conan and Clark, and the disguise pass to Hurl. Stevenson's with him. Where's this Newcastle been all season? That is a first phase belter. The Falcons slicing Bristol asunder. Doesn't get much better than that.
Well, I'll tell you what, he might have been out in the wilderness for some time, but Max Clark, that is an incredible pass.
Just have a look for you.
Proper no-look pass.
Yeah, no worries.
Brilliant line break from Hurl. Good angle back against the grain, and then the pace to get away.
Yeah, pass is good, Craig. No problem.
Ben Stevenson flooding through. Look at this. Not even looking. Does everyone. And then Hurl's inside and outside break. That's a brilliant set-piece score. That's why you take the 3 points down the other end of the field. Bristol are worried.
So Conan's kick brings it back to 3 points. Bristol led this game 21 points to 0 with 18 minutes on the clock. And Ashton Gate finding their lungs to try and spur their team back to putting Newcastle further away.
Can't let him up.
Newcastle right now won't go away.
Not out. Yes, please.
Well, you mentioned it just before. No bonus points. There it is. The bonus point, and on the road and at Bristol.
Rich Lane urged to run from deep, sizing up Spencer. Ravovo one-on-one with Max Pepper. Sit down, young man, but he puts his head in the spokes well. Newcastle not rolling away.
Well, it's a good opportunity for any team on the width to try and attack the ball. Newcastle just need to curb that enthusiasm, not get caught out giving away easy penalties.
That's you.
Pat Lam, substantially more anxious, you suspect, than he was about an hour ago. But this is Bristol. This is a team that makes a league-high 17 line breaks a game, that scores 5 tries a game on average, often more. Line out loose, and it's come off the referee. He's light on his feet, Craig Maxwell-Keys, but not quite light enough.
Well, you want me to flick it back? You're lucky I stayed on my feet. The ball hits me.
Got to have a better first touch than that.
He's lucky he moved, to be honest. He'd be on his haunches.
Don't look at me disappointed, Adam.
2 acres.
There we go.
It's one of the great characters of English rugby, Craig Maxwell-Keys. Really impressive young man. He's actually stepped away from refereeing full-time now to take up a career with the civil service. It was the end of last season, but he's still involved in the RFU duties part-time and still taking charge of matches at the highest level in England.
Crouch. Bind. Set. Settle down a bit quicker over here, please. And then let's time any contest on the ball, please. Let's move over here, please.
There's a lot going on in there. Jake Woolmore.
Yeah, that's the
Lewin
message
De Bruyne.
from that side. And then they'll time the ball coming in.
Really going at it. Both teams on the deck say, well done, lads. Portraying that they've got the edge. Not quite sure anyone's really dominated this area of the set piece this afternoon. But I'll tell you what, Ravovo is lurking incredibly dangerously in behind the scrum.
Set. Time off. That's scrums worked really well. We've had a few replacements come on. Standards are slipping. Don't bring me into the equation. Stay high, stay square. Time back on, please.
Right, the 6th heaviest men on the pitch, duly admonished by one of the smallest, but he's the one with the whistle. Woolmore against De Bruyne on this near side. Luan De Bruyne, formerly of Edinburgh, Leicester, the Cheetahs. Jake Woolmore, a barber outside of rugby, got his own gin company as well. Free kick to Bristol, and Mata comes careering forwards. Bodies flying everywhere. Sam Stewart ordered to leave that alone. Grondona met hard by Van der Waals. Jamie Blameyer came in to pilfer it, then left it alone, and Marmion picks it up.
Let go, tackle!
Chaotic stuff in the Newcastle 22. Ogre. Big shots coming in from the Falcons.
Good footwork to earn himself 1 or 2 yards, makes such a big difference.
Burn. Van Rensburg, a rare error from him. Lane keeps it alive. Ravovo goes route 1. Van der Waals shuts the door. Great clean out from the Bears to keep possession. Jenkins to Van Rensburg. He might have been hit high there by Alex Serrell. Ball gone forward in any case.
Just a knock on.
It's huge.
That's why there's a free kick.
Yeah, but just
It's probably not
do that. It's really difficult for me to be able to.
the standards we've seen from Van Rensburg.
Craig.
Time off. Yeah, Rosie.
Yeah, we need to show this tackle on the Bristol player who knocks the ball on.
Okay, right.
Yeah, David Rose, the TMO, has called for a formal review of Alex Herrell on Janse van der Rensburg.
Okay, yeah, in front to the screen, Rosie, just let me know.
Yeah. First angle coming now, Craig.
Okay, Rosie, so
I think in that situation it's really difficult for Herrell because
definitely at fault.
He's dropped the ball and he's tried to react to him dropping the catch, so he's dropped his height.
Into that tackle because he stops him dead in his tracks. So we enter a red card for high danger. There is clear mitigation because he's falling to ground. So there's a sudden drop in height, which means he comes down to yellow. Agree?
Yep, I agree with those facts.
And it's 13 Newcastle.
13 Newcastle, yeah.
The yellow's coming out for Alex Herrell. A body blow for Newcastle. And Bristol can keep cranking up the pressure.
So we can't get involved in XIAs. If there's any
Well, it's tough for Alex Herrell because
there's a gum shield, there's enough in place.
he's done well, but it's a really difficult situation to navigate as a player when someone drops their height that quickly. And the good thing is that Van Rensburg is still on his feet. He's worn it as only you would expect someone as tough as him would do.
Bristol will back themselves all day long to pull clear of Newcastle. The maul won't be the route for it. Van Rensburg pulling it back for Heward, who steps on the outside. Caught by Ollie Spencer. And Newcastle have the penalty, and that is met with a chorus of howls from the Falcons down beneath us.
Release the ball on the floor, then go back on it.
It's all about management. This next 10 minutes, 9 minutes probably. Kick the ball to the corner, or make sure it just goes off. Slowly walk to the line out, try and run everything down.
Could see Brett Connon just with his arms up there gesturing exactly that.
Yep,
this is the offence, Tom.
Oh yeah, pretty clear. He's got himself isolated, that was the problem.
5, thank you.
It's good to see the Newcastle players smiling, because it's been a tough few years, hasn't it?
Luatua got up really well, but McDonald got there just in time. Luan de Bruin and Wilmore having a personal one-on-one wrestling match off the ball. Stewart to Captain Chick, has to soak up the collisions. Sam Stewart's going to stick this one high on Calaveti Ravovo. Pepper gives chase, Ravovo wins it comfortably. And then Bristol again, the speed of that rocking gets them into their attacking shape. Newcastle are offside, freebie for Bristol. Lane just loses his footing at the crucial moments. Kloska, Byrne, Van Rensburg, oh, he holds on. And there are options out the back, but Lemire has it. And we'll go back all the way back for the Bristol penalty.
Number 12, never onside. Yep.
So 12 offside.
It's just a simple penalty for Newcastle to give away from Max Clark. Getting caught out in these areas, you just want to not give Bristol any chance to kick upfield. Fortunately for Newcastle, it's not a huge kick from Harry Byrne.
That's yours there.
Ogre's throw looked a little squint there, but on we rage with Van Rensburg and Jenkins. Luatua, options on the inside, couldn't find them. Marmion, Burns sending it wide to Heward. Unbelievable take from Noah Heward. Left hand to left hip. Marmion, Luatua. Bristol at full flight. Harding, Jenkins, Van Rensburg, Ravovo, he's on a hat-trick. This is Mata! A symphony of flying Fijians. Is that the match-settling score for the Bears?
Well, so difficult for Newcastle in that situation, being one man down, but when you've got quality players that want to play with pace, it's all stemmed from that burst of energy, the burst of pace from Heward on that far touchline. For all money, he was going to drop that, and then the ability to just keep driving his legs to gain another 5 meters. It means Newcastle have to work extra hard in defence. And then it's simple stuff, isn't it? Picking defenders off Ravovo doing simple things well. Who doesn't want to see Mata in full flight? Literally.
Any news on the Bristol player?
Marquee summer signing from Edinburgh, Bill Mata, proving his worth. And that's what it means to the youngsters.
Replacement number 20, Jake Keenan, and number 6, Santi Grondona.
So replacement on, we'll just wait for him to leave the field.
Bernard Jansen van der Rensburg standing in at goal kicker because Harry Byrne is heading off, and that is a worry for Harry Byrne because Bristol, goodness me, they're down to the bare bones at fly half. We went through the list of absentees in the first half. Harry Byrne, that's a significant injury. It's a real concern for Pat Lam. Only saving grace that it's Prem Cup next weekend, albeit Harry Byrne was supposed to play in that to get him as embedded as possible into the Bears systems. Jake Keenan's off the bench. Here goes Luatua. Marmion. Bristol looking to kill the game here. Marmion against Stevenson. What a step that is. See you later. A firecracker finish from Kieran Marmion. Bristol with a double lightning strike, and that surely will be the match.
Well, it's the pace with which Bristol attack. Every time they get an opportunity and they make a line break, they surge through in support. It's Luatua has the ability to hold off a defender and deftly deliver a brilliant offload to Marmion. And then, to be honest, that step is ridiculous. He's done him on a sixpence, just a shimmy one way and a dart the other from the little scrum half. Creates the 5-pointer. And an opportunity for Van Rensburg, which he duly takes.
2 tries in 2 minutes for the Bears. Marmion has 4 in 4 matches, and suddenly a 3-point game becomes a 15-point game.
The opportunity, the worry for Stevenson was on the outside, because a lot of players would have looked to get that ball into 2 hands and delivered it out to the wing, but when you back yourself from that sort of distance and your pace and footwork, why not?
Bravo, coming a long way for that. Diego Bailey was underneath it. As you can hear from the assistant referee, nobody's quite too sure what happened there, but Bristol Bears in possession. Wolstenholme's first touch into Will Capon.
It's not, but use, please.
Owen van der Rensburg. Confidence coursing through these Bears now.
That ball is out.
Wolstenholme and Heenan played for Pat Lam at Auckland, at Connacht, won the 2016 Pro 12 under the Samoan International. And Wolstenholme calmly pops that out.
Well, the yellow card has almost energised Bristol, hasn't it? Literally 2 teams slugging each other tit for tat prior to the yellow card for Alex Hill, and then it's unravelled for Newcastle really quickly.
Lads, loads of lads, easy. 12's being replaced.
There's Kieran Wilkinson, who played for Steve Diamond at Sale Sharks, brought him through the ranks as a young fly half. Max Clark comes off, and Jamie Lyre's been withdrawn as well, with young Ollie Fletcher, who's been a bright spark for Newcastle this season, coming on for him. There's Ollie Fletcher. First job will be to throw in at this line out, with teenager Joe Davis replacing Sam Stewart at scrum half at the base of it. There he is, far left of your picture. His parents were actually on holiday in Ibiza when he found out he was going to make his Prem debut against the Bears, round 1 of the season. Spencer to Lockwood. Van Rensburg quickly upon it. Wonderful steal from Van Rensburg. Davis shuffles it back. Goodness me, this is loose, and Bristol could profit. Lure Tua over the top. Wolstenholme, Rabovo. Is this a hat-trick for Rabovo? Wilkinson shuts the door. Harding. 14 carries, 13 tackles a game on average this season for the skipper. Kloskov and Rensburg. Oh, that's magical. Diego Bailey on the outside. Too strong. And a game that hung in the balance 10 minutes ago now has a very one-sided and routish, emphatic feel to it.
Well, the acceleration from Diego Bailey is unbelievable.
You were right, the ball did travel backwards by the Newcastle.
From a standing start, he's flown past Max Pepper. Brilliant skill from Rensburg, and then the awareness from Jenkins to push the ball to the outside. And the tank is now empty, isn't it, for Newcastle? Energy's low, whereas you just feel Bristol could go for days with that sort of relentless pace.
Just a fourth Premiership appearance for Diego Bailey. Try scorer on it as Van Rensburg just pulls that one towards the near post. Spent a lot of time with Dings Crusaders, one of Bristol's partner clubs down in Nat 1. Made his Champions Cup debut last weekend over in the Massif Central in France. But he's a talent, he's a powerful finisher.
Bristol Bears 48, Newcastle Falcons 28.
Stevenson goes through on it, and Lockwood has it. And it's a penalty to Newcastle.
Same as the one down there, and others. Pass the ball first.
Offbeat.
Into the corner they go, and Newcastle will be restored to their full complement of 15 as Alex Herrell returns from the bench. A rueful look at Steve Diamond's face. Suddenly his team are 20 points down.
Well, I think he realises how close they've got in terms of their performance here, their ability to bounce back in the way they have.
Conan, Spencer's kick over the top for Stevenson. Oh, it's sumptuous. Newcastle showing us things they haven't shown us for a long time. Wonderfully constructed, stunningly finished.
There's still a bit to play for Newcastle if they can. And they run out of time basically, but
yeah, we're just having a look in the background.
they could
just
nip
carry on
away from Ashton Gate with 2 points. Good crossfield kick and pick up from Stevenson. That's good finish.
It's clean enough.
Good finish.
Yep, all good, mate. Sorry, Craig.
Brett Conan, time of the essence, and it's a fine kick from the touchline. Newcastle 5 tries, 5 conversions. They need to score again to take more than the one losing bonus point back up the road with them.
Into the final minute of the game, Bristol Bears 48, Newcastle Falcons 35.
Right, final minute of the match. Bristol home and host. Newcastle would need a converted try to take 2 points rather than 1 back with them. And again, that steepling restart right into the corner. It's been a feature of Bristol's strategy today. Fletcher, Wilkinson, Alex Herrell fresh off the bench, fresh into the ribcage of Calaveti Rabovo. Davis, Wilkinson and Lockwood still with plenty of juice in his boots. Ollie Fletcher, young hooker, who will probably be first choice here next season with the departure of Jamie Blameyer. Conan, Herrell rips the pass right to the touchline and to Callum Chick. Clock ticks into the red. Last chance for Newcastle. They've got to score a converted try from 94 metres here. Davis, Wilkinson has to gamble, does so. Van Rensburg onto it, Sjoerd. Bristol could punish them again here. Elizalde slaloming through like a matador, and Sjoerd has the final save for the Bears. Newcastle had to play with fire in their own 5-metre zone, and boy did they get their fingers burnt.
Well, they had to try something, did Newcastle. They had possession. They couldn't just shut up shop and kick it off. Tried something, didn't work. But Bristol clinical in the way that they finish. Van Rensburg just handing the ball off, and then a good step on the inside from Elizalde. And then Hewitt works so hard off the ball, doesn't he? He has done all game. Good finish.
Van Rensburg slots the extras, and Bristol clamber on to 55 points. It's a chasm in the end on the scoreboard between these two teams, but that doesn't tell the story of a Newcastle team that came here, put it all on the line, and had Bristol pulses racing well into this contest. But it is a Bears victory, a big victory, the win they need to keep up pressure on Bath at the summit of the table. Bristol win it at Ashton Gate by 55 points to 35. And in amongst that flurry of late tries for both teams, we never had time to get your Gallagher Premiership player of the match, Tom May, but I think he might be in shot right there.
Yeah, it is that man. Calaversi Ravovo was outstanding. Real threat, ball in hand. Okay, we might have seen him a fair amount of time in midfield for Bristol this season, but demonstrating his versatility, but quite frankly, his out-and-out pace. Massive threat on the ball. Here's my Gallagher Premiership player of the match.
Terrific day for Calaversi Ravovo. 2 tries, a couple of assists as well. This is what he brought to the table today, right from the off, Tom.
Inside and out. It wasn't just all about him making line breaks and finishing tries off. He was pulling defenders in, making space for others. He's an intelligent player, and when you've got an intelligent player that is massive and rapid, well, it's like a computer game at times, isn't it? Really good player for Bristol. And if you were any other back, you're just going to get in his slipstream and trying to at least get an offload from time to time when he doesn't do it all himself.